Hey everybody, what is up? Fourth Seraph here, and today we are talking a little bit about ELO hell. Now, this is something that a lot of people have made videos on and talked about and complained about or said doesn't exist and all this stuff. Well, as someone who placed in the platinum ranking tier, but really had good games in all of my placement matches, but unfortunately still only won 6 out of 10, which is significantly better than my last attempt when I won 2 out of 10 first season. I was pretty happy with my ranking. I thought I'd be playing with pretty decent players, but it seems that I am stuck in a little bit of ELO hell, and so I'm just going to go through some statistics on how to get out of that, some ways to improve, and how to get up into the higher ranks. Now, let me say that there is a caveat to this video, and that is if you are really just not very good at the game, this is not going to make you rank up a bunch. It's not. You're not going to get up to Master or Grandmaster if, you can play 2 different characters, and if those get chosen, you're just completely screwed. But I have played many games with people who I think are really good, and yet we still seem to either lose because of other teammates, or I win that game and then go into another game and lose and pretty much go down as much as I went up at all of this. So I'm going to go through kind of like 3 solutions for this. The first one is probably pretty obvious. Just try and coordinate as a team as best as possible. Don't just try and choose the DPS characters. Don't just say, well, I want to play Soldier, I want to play Genji, and you guys can just form around me. If you go in with a 5-man, and you're solo queued, don't just pick Reaper right off the bat and then just say, screw these guys, they can figure it out. Let them choose. And if they don't choose for a while, then that means they're trying to communicate to you, hey, you choose first, we'll form around you. And you already have something going there. You've got a good team comp, probably. Try and get in a party with them, maybe even, or if they're in voice chat, use a mic as much as you can. That's really going to help, but really don't just go into a mindset of solo queue saying, hey, don't care, I'm just playing for me, I'm not going to try and work with my team, they probably all suck anyways, and I'm just going to do me and they can do them. That's really not what's going to work. Now, most of this is going to be focused towards people who are solo queuing, but that's kind of going to be one of the solutions later on. So if you do have to solo queue, which I do most of the time, I do play with people occasionally, but it's hard to really get a big team with people all on at once where I really have 5 or 6 people that play at my rank. I like playing with everyone, but really for me to go into a team with a bunch of people who are gold and ranked at 2100, it just doesn't help me. It's really not going to help me rank up. It's more so to help them, if anything, and overall, I'm going to suffer. And so as someone who does care a lot about their rank, and for the purpose of YouTube and Twitch streaming, I want to get the best games as possible, highest rank possible, and really get up to top 500 this season, which I think I will be able to do. But I just can't play with some people sometimes. I need to play with people in my tier, and so if people like that aren't on, then most of the time what I'll do is I'll just solo queue. And so if this first solution doesn't work out, that's when you go to this one. I want to make that really clear. If your team, if they will just not work together at all, everyone's just choosing the most random characters because one guy can only play Torbjorn and he refuses to switch, and so he's playing an offensive Torbjorn on Dorado, even though that makes 0 sense and Torbjorn sucks, especially on console right now. Who knows? That might happen. You will probably get in games like that, especially towards the beginning of the season here, but if that is the case, you've tried to work with your team, you've tried to communicate, you've even gotten on your mic and been like, hey, can someone switch Torbjorn? Why don't you even try just playing Bastion? Because I'm playing Reinhardt, and you'll get behind my shield. I'll really help you out, and we'll be able to push this. And he's just not listening. People are doing whatever they want and just going all which way. Then the solution to that is to choose a high DPS character that you can carry with. So I think the best options for this would be a Pharah, McCree, or Reaper. Reaper has a great ult that can really turn the tide of a game. He can tear through the tanks, which most characters have a hard time fighting a tank one-on-one, and so if your team isn't working together, it can be really hard to kill them, and so that's why, personally, my favorite is Reaper. You can also play a character like Zarya, where you can shield your teammates, and maybe when they're rushing in there and doing stupid stuff, help them a little bit, and once again output a lot of damage. But a character like Reinhardt isn't going to help if your team isn't doing anything, because you're going to have no one to shield and essentially be another useless character. Now, I've noticed that just statistically, most people win and lose about the same amount of games. My win ratio for the last season was 51 point something percent. I started at rank 47. I fell quite a bit at the beginning, down to about rank 42, and finished up in the 60s with a season high of 62, which I think is pretty decent. But how did I do that if my win ratio was even? Even while I was climbing, I didn't have like a 75 or 80% win ratio. It was still only about 50%. That's why you play these DPS characters, because if you do your job well, even if your team doesn't, just statistically, by winning that even amount of games as you lose, you'll slowly be able to climb more than you're falling, and it may take a while. You won't climb super quickly, but over weeks and months, you can get way up there to where you're playing with better people. But that isn't necessarily a great solution, because, like, I was only able to get up to rank 62, and I wanted to be much higher than that. I thought I could get close to the 70s. I think I will get into Master this season. I think I'm good enough. I've played with multiple games against people top 500, and statistically, I've actually won more games playing at that level than I do at lower levels, when teams really just work better together and stuff. So I think even at the higher level, it'll actually be more fun. I won't get frustrated. I'll play better and just have more fun and overall win more games. But to get up to that point quickly, to really break out of ELO hell completely, you have to do something that a lot of people don't do. Invite people to your party. If you're playing on console, add people to your friends list. When you see someone who's doing good, or who has a mic and you're talking with and you guys can communicate well, I always just write down their name. I know on Xbox there's not like an easy way. I wish they had a leaderboard system like Call of Duty where you can go straight to their profile and add them. You can't, so I just on my computer, on my phone, write down their name, wait till after the game, and send them a friends request. Not everyone will accept it, but since I've started doing that, I've gotten a couple more people. Now we can party up. I have more people to play with, more people to train with, more people to go into competitive. And so if I play a game and I say our team really worked well together and we absolutely destroyed, and I just go, why not invite these people to play with me again? And we can continue to do this, because I had a game actually just before the one you're going to see in this video, the recording I'm using, where I play with some guys and we talk and we communicate, and the other team isn't actually statistically that bad. Now, they do make the mistake of constantly shooting Zarya while she has her shield up or while she has it on someone else, so I stay at very high charge. But other than that, they're not a terrible team. It wasn't an absolute like pub stomping situation. They were fairly proficient at the game. However, our team just worked together so well and we were able to do really well. And so I say, I'll be able to up my win ratio significantly if I add these people to my friends list and play with them more, because I know that they'll work together with me. I know that they're decent at the game. And so this is the thing that's going to help people climb up out of it. And it's one thing that people just, I think, don't think of a lot. They get in this mindset of, I am a solo queue player, I am going to solo queue. I mean, if my friend that I know in real life gets on, I might play with him, but they don't think of reaching out and making new friends and finding new people to play with. But that is the thing. That's how I broke out of the 40s last time, because I was stuck in ELO hell there. And by getting people who were pretty good for that skill ranking and partying up with them, I was able to break into the 50s, and then from the 50s solo queue all the way up into the 60s, and be at games where I had a lot of fun and did really well. And so I think if you guys focus on doing that, try and work with your team as best as possible. If that doesn't work, play the DPS characters if you can, or a character where you can take a lot of medals. So if you're going to play a healer, play Zenyatta, play Lucio, and focus on doing either a lot of damage, getting a lot of objective time, and other things besides just the healing aspect of it. and try and do that, and you'll be able to slowly still be climbing as you gain more people to create an actual full team where you can then go into higher ranking and higher levels and break out of ELO hell. But anyways, guys, that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up and a comment, and let me know if you guys would be interested in me making a list of who I think are the best solo queue characters, so that you guys can really take home the most medals and do the most damage and win games. Who are the best like solo carry characters, because a lot of them are the ones that I tend to play when I solo queue, because I trust myself a lot more than I trust everyone else. But until then, I will see you guys online.